All right. Welcome back, everybody. Hear Me Out podcast. And damn, Brooks, what's happening with this 72 game season, bro? I thought this was supposed to be it. I thought Adam Silver was gonna deliver on being the best commissioner the NBA's ever seen. What is going on right now, man?
The games are too condensed, man. People are getting injured. You end up playing double digit back to backs when you haven't done that in a while. Of course, your body isn't going to be used to that. Not to mention the fact that you have some teams like the Lakers and the Heat that just got done playing in what was it like October, and then they end up
And they
playing
came
again
back
in December.
before Christmas, bro.
Yeah,
That's nuts,
crazy,
bro.
man.
The 72 game season has ruined this NBA season. Going down the list of notable injuries, we have LeBron with the ankle injury. He played on the 20th of March. That's when he got hurt. You got AD with the Achilles. You got Jamal Murray season-ending ACL injury. You got James Harden with the hamstring. KD just came back from the hamstring. Now he's out again with another leg injury earlier today. You have Donovan Mitchell with the ankle injury. You got Zach LaVine, who just went through the COVID protocol. He's going to miss some time. You got Jeremy Grant, the potential most improved player of the year. He's out now with a knee injury. You got Steph Curry battling with this ankle injury. He just dropped, 47 points last night and they lost.
Yeah,
He was on a
with
bum
10
ankle
threes.
with 10 threes again, fifth time this season. Victor Oladipo, the newly acquired Miami Heat, he's battling with an ankle injury. No, excuse me. He's dealing with a knee injury. And then you got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander also with a foot injury, the best player out in Oklahoma City. And looking at some notable rookies too, you got Mitchell Robinson from the Knicks. He just came back from injury, broke his foot. Now he's out for the rest of the year. You got James Wiseman, the second pick in the draft. He had a meniscus tear, season over. You have the third overall pick, the potential rookie of the year. He's running away with it. My second favorite player in the league currently, LaMelo Ball, the best ball out of the Ball brothers.
Yeah.
And now he's out because he broke his shooting wrist or fractured his shooting wrist. Do you think that has more to do with the fact that the season is too condensed, or did some of these players that didn't go as far as maybe Miami and LA, did they not prepare themselves as well?
I would say it's more of the condensed schedule. Again, when you're playing that many back to backs, and you're playing and you're traveling and all that, your body doesn't get the proper amount of time to recover. And the fact of the matter is too, man, when you're playing basketball year round and you end up playing basketball that close to the season ending, or even if you take a long time to even just get another game to play, playing against that schedule is going to mess up your body. So I blame it really on the schedule more so than the players' bodies or the way they condition, because again, these are professional athletes. They have no reason to not be in shape.
Yeah, that's the thing though, man. I feel like as far as maybe a LeBron and AD, if you were talking maybe somebody like a Bam Adebayo who did have some slight injuries here and there, but if you're talking about one of those two teams or one of maybe the conference finalists, those last four teams standing in the NBA playoffs, I can see why these guys are getting hurt because they have no time in between. But if you're talking about these guys that had a lot of time to play, maybe they don't. It might be a little bit on them, but at the same time, that could also contribute the super long time off to injury as well because they weren't warmed up like these other guys were. Man, the 72 game season really seemed to affect everyone, bro. The guys that had the long layoff and the guys that had the short layoff, man. So as of so far, what are you going to grade Adam Silver's 72 game season on a A plus to an F scale, or I guess vice versa?
Man, man, I'm gonna give him like an average grade. I'm gonna give him a C. I'm gonna give him a C minus right now, just because again, you're dealing with a lot of injuries. And it's not even just a condensed schedule. Like the All Star game, I thought that wasn't gonna happen, and it ends up happening just to get some more, revenue into the league. Just the week before, you end up getting into a scuffle between LeBron and the fan. Now they're trying to get that fans back into the arenas now, and of course, it's going to be pretty cool for the basketball players. But again, we're still dealing with a lot of stuff going on in the world, so it's just crazy to me. But yeah, I'll give him a C minus simply because of the condensed schedule, All Star game kind of just happening out of nowhere. They got to worry about the Olympics in less than 100 days too, and that was the main reason why they wanted to play 72 games was, they wanted Team USA to have the pros and all that, and you got guys, a lot of guys out with injury. Like Jamal Murray could have been a star for Team Canada, and now he's not going to be able to play at all. You know, so yeah, that's just how I feel about it.
I think you're being a little bit too nice to that bald man, Adam Silver, man. I feel like I have to give him like a D plus, bro, because the value of the value of the product is not going to be high when the product is not taken care of correctly. How are you going to push these guys out there that way? I would understand a 72 game season if it's starting in like February. I would understand maybe starting in December if you're going to do 50 games, right? I understand people need to make money, right? The NBA's bottom line is going to be the most important thing to them. They're going to want to take care of all the employees, obviously, as well as generate viewership and money for the brand, the NBA brand. But bro, take care of the players. They're the ones that make this thing go round. I'm gonna have to give them a D plus. Like you said, that All-Star game was just so weak, bro. You're gonna have a dunk contest at the halftime
And the
All-Star
three-point
game.
contest.
It's already like dry as it is, and then now you get a halftime dunk contest, and you stuff everything in one day, bro. Not that much has much to do with the overall season, but the Rookie of the Year is out. Couple of potential MVPs are out. Joel Embiid was just out. He's back now. He's probably going to regain his MVP status at some point, either him or Jokic. You got most improved players going out left and right. Jeremy Grant, who knows, maybe like a Christian Wood. Just way too many injuries, man. And a part of me wants to say, like, man, these guys had time. These guys had time to get themselves ready. But on the other end of that, I say so many back-to-backs, man. And 72 games is just not going to work when some of these teams were just playing on Halloween, bro.
I mean, the Wizards are they're tied up for the 10th seed right now, and they've had to play 8 back-to-backs in the second half of the season alone. So again, this is way too much. And again, people can say, oh, they want that the game nowadays is too soft, but when you have a lot of science and information, of course the game is going to improve and you're going to be more skilled and less tough. So I'd rather see that than people getting clobbered and getting hurt unnecessarily.
You don't think the game is too soft though, Brooks?
In some ways it is. I would say that you look at the refs, they're calling texts for trash talking, and Kyrie and Dennis Schroeder got texts for no reason other than just them talking. Basketball is more fun when you're talking shit, so I'd rather see that. But some of the foul stuff, yeah, it can be a little soft. But again, I just enjoy the game for what it is. I'm not gonna go too much off on a tangent in regards to the toughness.
Yeah, man, I find that argument it's a funny debate that people have about, is the NBA soft, based off of usually when I see that the rebuttal is the 1980s Detroit Pistons, how they just tackle folks out the air, and Kurt Rambis throwing haymakers and all that, man. I don't know, bro. I think compared to that, the NBA is a little soft. The refs, the players, shoot, even down to the coaches. Obviously, but now we're in the social media age, bro. We're in the brand era. Nobody's trying to get beat up. No one's trying to have a Malice in the Palace Part 2, man.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers care more about whoever the brand is.
Again,
more than the player.
And again, David Stern.
Team, I mean.
David Stern saved the league by going to the stars and saying, "Hey, you guys do what you gotta do and save the league." He wasn't even a big fan of all the physicality in the league, and now it's out, and now people want to complain about it. And again, the commissioner didn't even like it. Commissioner didn't even like Allen Iverson doing what he was doing. He wanted the NBA to be business-like. So the culture is just completely different than what it used to be too. So it's an all-around problem. So it is what it is. And you're not gonna go back. You're not gonna go back to what it was back in the day either.
Never, ever again, bro. I want to ask you, man, which injury to you was the most impactful out of all these injuries that you've seen so far? Out of that whole list that we named out, who would you say is the most, whose loss is felt the most? Whose void is going to be the hardest to fill?
Man, I'm gonna say, I mean, it's super fresh. Excuse me, obviously, but Jamal Murray, because again, he's the Robin to Jokic's Batman, and that team was a lot better with him, being a shooting guard and him trying to be the closer. He had we saw it in the bubble, him going toe to toe with Donovan Mitchell. Now, who are they going to count on to be that fourth quarter scorer? Who are they going to count on to, keep them afloat when Jokic isn't going to be on fire like he usually is? I think that's going to be the biggest injury. You know what I mean? You have Michael Porter Jr., but the guy's still figuring it all out. Aaron Gordon isn't going to be that guy because he's not a scorer like that. So I think that's the biggest one. Second biggest, I probably would say, is AD because they signed Montrez and they got Marc Gasol to be kind of like insurance for him, but this was supposed to be one of the bigger years for him, and then he ends up not being able to play since Valentine's Day. So, and they're missing him in some ways, but then they're still like floating. So it's been good for them. But I would say Jamal Murray is the biggest injury for any team.
Yeah, man, that's crazy because really, I agree with that, man. I wouldn't say that he's the most impactful, but I can see how no Jamal Murray basically makes Denver, a first round bounce. They're going to be anywhere from that 6 to 8 range without him. He's not coming back. It was what, ACL for him.
Yeah.
So
and it was a non-contact injury too, which makes it even
man,
worse.
those are the worst, bro. When you see a player just like fall on nothing and they're looking behind them, they feel like that somebody stepped on them, or like, oh my god, bro, those are the worst because that you basically know the player's done after that. Like when they start clutching and they got to get helped off, man. Like what happened with Donovan Mitchell. I think Donovan Mitchell is most likely going to be the most impact. I want to say LaMelo, but I feel like there's too much bias behind that just because I like him and I think that he's having a good story season. Like, again, these awards, I think all awards are pretty narrative based. Like, how the fuck are you going to give Malcolm Brogdon Rookie of the Year? Come on, bro. That year specifically. I think that was the
That was 2016. That was 2015, 2016.
2017.
No, that was
That was
2016.
2017.
No, it's 2016, bro.
2016.
Yeah, because that's when
Embiid only played like 30 games that year.
Yeah, because that was
Embiid's award to win, just like Zion's award to win last year, or last year, right, or 2 years ago, and then they ended up giving it to Ja. I think it was last year. Last year they gave it to Zion.
Yeah,
crazy
well,
shit.
Again,
though,
he
man.
was hurt. He was hurt for most of the year, and then he only got to play like 20 games, and then the league shut down and all that.
Yeah, man. Last year was crazy, man. It was like an anomaly, but
yeah,
but the most impactful injury, if it turns out to be as bad as what it looked, I would have to say Donovan Mitchell, man. I see the AD, the Jamal Murray. Those are definitely super impactful injuries, but this Donovan Mitchell thing, they're 41-15 or whatever they're at right now. 41-15. What are they at right now? Let me get the exact record for the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz have been the number one team in the West, and a lot of points, the number one team in the NBA. Let me get the record.
They're 42-15.
42-15. So they won today, I believe. 42
they lost.
and
It looks like they lost.
Lost today?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They did lose today. So 41. So 42-15. They got a 26-3 home record. They've been consistently about the best team in the NBA. So you take out Donovan Mitchell, who if you look at what MVP should be, he's got to be the MVP of the league. It's the best team. He's the best player on the best team. So you basically take a guy who's up there in the MVP conversation. You take him out of the equation, and who's going to give you 27 a night on there? Not Rudy Gobert, not Derek Favors. You know what I mean? Not anybody on that team.
Mike Conley.
Not Mike Conley, bro. Like, I'm sorry. No one's giving you what Donovan Mitchell is giving you. Especially, we saw what he did against Denver last year and how he was going crazy. He was one Mike Conley 3 away from the second round, and then maybe they potentially beat the Clippers just like Denver did. So Utah has the most to prove out of a lot of these. Has more than a lot to prove. Philly has the most to prove out of everybody, and then I would say it's probably Utah behind that. Phoenix, you know, that they're in the mix, but Utah got a lot of pressure on him, man. And you take him out of there, that's going to make it tough for them to really prove how good they are, and it's just going to leave that asterisk, that what if Donovan Mitchell never got hurt, man. I hate to see it, but that's that's a tough loss, man. That's a tough loss right there, bro.
Very, very tough loss.
So I guess before we get on out of here, man, I want to ask you. I want to ask you about your Wizards. I can't even say our Wizards, man, because I only root for the Wizards when they're good. So the Wizards right now, they're currently sitting at the 10th, no, 11th, the 9, 10. They're in the 11th spot in the East. They are currently 4.5 games out of the playoffs, and the season is about to end in a couple of weeks. So do you see Washington with Bradley Beal, with Russell Westbrook, with Rui, who's in and out of the lineup right now with injuries? Do you see them making a playoff push?
I see them making a push to the playing spot. I don't think they would necessarily deserve it, but the way they've been playing for the past couple of weeks, they won 5 of their last 6 games. They went 4-2 in their last road trip. They're playing basketball at the right time, but the main thing is the fact that they are one of the most inconsistently consistent, or they're consistently inconsistent, and they need to figure out how to hold on to the ball and not carelessly turn it over. They need to become better shooters. The team, they're figuring it out, but they're not the best built team, and it all comes down to coaching at the end of the day. And anybody will tell you, any Wizard fan will tell you that Scott Brooks needs to go. I hope that's the first thing that happens whenever the season ends, whether that's after the playing game or that's you know in the playoffs, because he needs to go. Bradley Beal needs or Russell Westbrook needs someone who can actually like put him on a leash and tell him to not turn over the ball 5 times a game. Bradley Beal needs to become a better fourth quarter scorer. Um, you know, but I have hopes for this team. I'm not gonna put like all of my optimism in them, but I want them to get into a playing spot and play whoever is gonna be the ninth seed and hopefully beat them.
So you would say Scotty Brooks is the most to blame for the Wizards' inconsistency this season, at least.
As a coach, yes, absolutely. Just him not knowing how to sub people in, not him not knowing when to keep Russell in or keep Bradley Beal in. It's all crazy, And the guy was supposed to be a developer of players, and I think it's because again he had KD, he had James Harden, Serge Ibaka, Russell Westbrook, but I think those guys were going to be great regardless of who their coach was. So it's kind of just a bad reputation that he got simply because he got the job at the right time.
Brooks, man, you ready to admit Bradley Beal's kind of part of the problem?
How so?
Dude, it's not translating to wins, man.
The
He's
scoring?
he's the leading scorer in the league, and it's not translating to even a playoff spot, man. I would have to say that if he's scoring all these points and they're not winning games, maybe if he puts a little bit of his of takes a little bit off of scoring off the table to maybe give it to a Russell Westbrook, maybe give a bigger load to Rui.
I would say maybe defensively, like him not being able to. Again, and he'll be the first one to tell you, that team cannot stop a parked car. So I blame it just as much on the defense as I would on him not being able to, you know. No, I'm not gonna say it's his fault, because again, he's doing his job and he's supposed to get buckets. Russell Westbrook is out there. He's able to control the team in the fourth quarter. He's actually gaining a lot. He's actually doing a lot as a closer anyway. So that's like the next step for me to see him do is actually be like the fourth quarter guy that we all expect him to be. Because first 44 minutes, first 43, you can say, he's great. But when it comes to the clutch time, sometimes he's nowhere to be seen. Sometimes he's putting up shots and they just don't fall in. I don't know if that's because he's just tired or not, but yeah, that's what I need to see him improve upon.
We'll see, man. They're 6-4 in their last 10 games.
Yeah.
They've won 4 in a row, so
And
maybe they
again,
do
they're
make a
tied up.
playoff push.
They're tied up with the Bulls for that play-in spot, so if they can overtake the Bulls team. A lot of people are going to be surprised, but you can put your best foot forward, and we'll see what happens.
Yep. And not to mention no Zach Levine for the time being. So Chicago could slip in the standings, as well as Charlotte, no LaMelo Ball. So those two spots are going to most likely become available. Who knows? Maybe even Miami if they slip a couple more games. But we'll see, man. Indiana is also in the mix. Toronto has been a major disappointment this year at 23 and 34. I honestly didn't even know that they were that bad this year. That's crazy. But yeah, man. So the NBA injuries, 72 game season. Brooks gives it a C. I give it a D plus. But we hope that these players can, at least the ones that are coming back, that they can remain healthy, and the ones that are out, that they'll be ready for next year, and that the NBA at some point will return to some type of normalcy, as the NBA and the world is starting to kind of recoup from the COVID pandemic, which is still ongoing, by the way, contrary to popular belief. But so hopefully we'll see what happens with that. And NBA injuries, they are piling up right now, man. Hopefully they stay safe. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Make sure if y'all like the video to hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow us on all our socials. We talk about this stuff every day. So if you're interested in the Discord, ask for an invite. We got you. Follow us on our socials. Keep the conversation going. And don't forget to check out Hot Media as well for more sports journalism and covering sports content. So we'll catch y'all in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.